Super Bowl 60 is finally here, and I'm hearing a lot of noise out there about how people just aren't super interested this year. They feel like it's going to be a boring game, but I'll tell you one thing, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. Sit down, enjoy the game, regardless of what happens, because it's going to be the last time that we get football for a while. This Sunday, Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, New England and Seattle will do battle to crown a champion for this season. Super Bowl 60 kicking off at 6:30 over on NBC, and we're expecting some great weather for a game that, as of right now, favors Seattle by 4.5 points with an over and under set at 45.5. As a reminder, the Seahawks are the number 1 seed from the NFC with a point differential of plus 191 this season, while New England comes from the AFC as the 2nd seed with a point differential of plus 170, and both of these teams finished the regular season at 14-3. Our personal postseason record here at the Fantasy Headliners has been pretty solid this season. We've called 10 out of 12 games correctly, and we're 8 for 12 against the spread. 4 of 12 in over-under. Yes, those haven't been nearly as good, but 15 of 23 for pick'ems, and we're going to cover these things again in this video, so stay tuned. For notable injuries, this is a pretty clean game right now. The Patriots are really the only team with starters that are nursing their way into this game. Harold Landry and Robert Spillane both are continuing to be questionable at this point in time. It does look like Harold Landry has a way better chance than Spillane of actually playing, but as of this recording, Spillane hasn't even practiced as of yet. But let's dive into the matchup edge and talk about each position individually, and we're going to start at the quarterback position. And you're probably going to be wondering how I don't at least have the quarterback position as a push. But heading into the Super Bowl, I'm going to give the nod to Sam Darnold, who's playing way better right now. Sam Darnold has yet to throw an interception in the playoffs. In the divisional round, he didn't even really need to throw the ball all that much because Seattle was so good against San Francisco. He was 12 of 17 for 124 yards, 1 touchdown, and no interceptions. Then in the conference championship, that's when he really turned things on. 25 of 36, 346 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Drake Maye, on the other hand, not looking nearly as good since the playoffs started. In the wild card round, not awful, 17 of 29, 268 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Then in the divisional round, 16 of 27, only threw for 179 yards, but did throw for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception against Houston. And then 2 weeks ago against Denver, that's where things were not great at all. And I know the weather had a lot to do with that, but only 10 of 21 for 86 yards. Now, he did add 65 rushing yards with a rushing touchdown and didn't throw an interception. But a guy that is being argued as one of the MVPs of this season, and when you watch this video, it may have already been announced who did win the MVP, but you would expect a better performance out of a guy who all season long was considered a high-tier MVP candidate. Sam Darnold is the one that is playing like an MVP candidate right now, and I'm going to give the Seahawks the edge at the quarterback position. Moving on to the running back position, and this is going to be very important for both teams in this game, because these are two very solid defenses. The Patriots didn't play very well at the beginning of the season, but here later in the year, they have played extremely well, and Seattle's had one of the best defenses all season long. Keeping a balanced approach in a game like this is absolutely necessary, not just to keep the defense off balance, but to also keep the pressure off of your quarterback. For the Patriots, it's going to be the combination of Rhamondre Stevenson and TreyVeon Henderson, and Henderson basically disappeared in the conference championship, so it's going to be hard to tell how much run he'll actually get in this game. But for him, the most important thing is when you do get an opportunity, you got to turn it into something big. The big playability from TreyVeon Henderson is something that could make or break a long third down. Maybe it's something where when Rhamondre Stevenson comes off the field because he's juiced at that point, that Henderson has to take over and help keep a drive going. Whatever it may be, Henderson, when he gets his opportunity, we need need to see that big playmaking ability. Rhamondre Stevenson, it's all about grinding it out on the ground. Don't lose the football. Hold on to it. Pick up those gritty yards. If you get some goal line opportunities, you have to be able to convert those. That's going to be very important for New England in this game. And for Kenneth Walker, it's all about just showcasing exactly what we all know, that you're one of the better playmakers at the running back position, but for the year, really never got a chance to showcase it with Zach Charbonnet continuing to come on and off the field. With no Charbonnet here in the Super Bowl, Kenneth Walker has an opportunity to take over this game on the ground. And if Seattle can get themselves out to an early lead, I bet we're going to see a lot of Kenneth Walker for as long as they can go. I expect both teams to be very balanced to begin the game, so I expect quite a few rushing opportunities right off the bat. Which team converts the biggest opportunities though early in the game? Which running back can break a couple of 10-yard gains? Which running back can get those yards on third down? That's going to be the difference of who ends up winning in the first and second quarters. At the wide receiver position, I'm absolutely giving it to the Seattle Seahawks. This team is set up for some great success in this game with their wide receiver core. Jaxon has been fantastic, and he has a chance to be one of the very few wide receivers that has put together a 2,000-yard receiving season. Yes, that does combine the regular season and the playoffs, but there's still not a whole lot of wide receivers that can say that they are in the same company as Jaxon. Cooper Kupp in the last game in the conference championship was a great asset to this team to help offset everybody paying attention to Jaxon. And then Rashid Shaheed doesn't get a ton of volume, but his ability to stretch the field on the outside will be very important, because that could end up being that big play that puts the nail in the coffin if Seattle is looking to take that shot. For tight ends, I'm going to give it to the Patriots. The Seattle defense, for as good as it's been this season, has not been great against tight ends. They allowed the 5th most receptions and the 6th most receiving yards to opposing tight ends this year. Hunter Henry has to be a big impact guy. He is one that disappears every other game, every few games. But once in a while, Hunter Henry shows up and he has a huge day. Today is that day. Hunter Henry needs to be the focal point of this offense outside of the run game. Get him in opportunities where he can succeed in good matchups, and if you get into the red zone, Hunter Henry better get the looks, because if you're going to score some touchdowns in the passing game, Hunter Henry should be on the other side of those. The offensive line for me is going to be a push. I think both of these offensive lines are very even. I think if you wanted to give the benefit of the doubt to one of these teams, it could end up being the New England Patriots, but Will Campbell hasn't exactly been the best left tackle in the playoffs right now. After getting injured in the regular season, he just hasn't really played as well down the stretch here. Maybe with a couple of weeks off, he's feeling a lot better right now, but I'm going to say that this matchup on the offensive line is even. Defensively, it's the Seahawks for me. I know New England has played way better down the stretch as a defense, but Seattle has been dominant all season long. They are suffocating. They hit hard. They all get to the ball. They do exactly what everybody wants their defense to do, and they have one of the better defensive minds in football, Mike Macdonald, at the helm running this team. For special teams, I'm giving it to the Seattle Seahawks. Just imagine, close game, late in the third quarter. The Seattle defense just got a big 3-and-out from New England. Now we get a huge punt return from Rashid Shaheed. We've already seen his big playability showcased in the playoffs. He's a guy that can flip the script on a game very fast. And it could be a back and forth battle to all of a sudden being ran by Seattle. But not just that, give me kickoffs, give me punts, give me the kicking game, whatever it may be. I do feel Seattle is a much better special teams unit than what the Patriots are. And as you can see on screen, I'm giving the edge to the Seattle Seahawks pretty clearly here. I don't think that this game is going to be a blowout blowout by any means, but I do think Seattle is the better team here. New England has had a really good season all year long. They have been very good from start to finish. However, I don't know if they are quite there yet, and they might be a year ahead of a window that is very close to opening once again. But before I give you my final prediction for the game, let's hop on over to Underdog and talk about our final lineup of the season and who are we going to be targeting in the big game. But Underdog is going to be running a ton of specials this week, so if you are not signed up over there, I would encourage you to do it right now. And if you get signed up over on Underdog with our code Headliners, when you play your first $5 fantasy contest, you're going to get $75 and bonus contest as well. A great way to end the season. And we've been highly successful over on Underdog this year. Our biggest focus has been looking for high percentage plays that allow us to win week after week after week. But I'm going to put that to the back burner in this matchup. I'm going to go a little bit risky to try and end the season on a big one. Here we go, the final ticket of the NFL season. I'm going to go higher than 2.5 rushing attempts from Sam Darnold. Hopefully some defensive pressure can cause him to get outside of the pocket, and maybe he has to pick up some yards with his legs a couple of times during this game. If that happens and we can hit higher than 2.5 rushing attempts, that is a solid multiplier. Austin Hooper, higher than 4.5 receiving yards. That literally can be one reception. And we already talked about what the tight end position with Hunter Henry could mean to this game, but that doesn't mean that Austin Hooper couldn't find himself with a couple of receptions as well. And Cooper Kupp, he was a fantastic number 2 to JSN in the conference championship, and a guy that really for the majority of the season has been fairly quiet. He's towards the end of his career, and he came to Seattle for a reason, and that reason could definitely come to fruition here in the Super Bowl. I would not be shocked if Cooper Kupp does not play a big piece of this game and goes higher than 24.5 receiving yards. But hurry up before it's too late and you miss out on all the promotions that Underdog will be running this week. The longer you take to get signed up, the less promos you'll have to take advantage of. Download the Underdog app, use code Headliners when you get signed up, come play some contests with us here for the big game, and enjoy the final week of the NFL season. All right, my final prediction. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks, and I believe that this game has the opportunity to go over 45.5 points. I think from Seattle's side, they're going to give up some plays to the New England Patriots, but I think their offense is going to be very solid in this game, and I think we're going to get a little bit better of an offensive matchup than what a lot of people expect. So far this postseason, that seems to be the way it's gone. That, hey, if this seems like it's going to be a defensive battle, the offenses are able to put together some points. If this looks like it's going to be an offensive battle, it's the defenses that take over. So even though these are a couple of really good defenses and it feels like it could be an under game, I'm going to go with the script of the NFL season so far, and I'm going to go higher than 45.5. Now, Seattle right now is a 4.5 point favorite. I think they win by more than 4.5 points. I don't think that this is going to be a field goal game. I think this could end up being a 10-point game. I think Seattle and New England are very close in the first half. I think Seattle takes the lead in the third quarter, and then I think they put the game away late, winning with either a late field goal or a late touchdown to seal this game by at least 10 points. Headliner Nation, hopefully everybody has been enjoying the videos for this postseason. It's the final postseason video, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a ton of offseason content on the way. So if you've been here for a while, continue to stick around and check out all of the videos that we'll do this offseason. If you're new to the channel and you happen to come across this video before the Super Bowl, hit the like button, subscribe, and let us know if you're a new viewer down in the comments. Headliner Nation, stay safe and healthy. Have a great Super Bowl Sunday, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.
Analytics off the chain, 12 channels.